Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, have we got a show for you today? That's right. We're talking about Daredevil, Born Again, Season 2, not just Episode 2. We're talking about 2 and 3. Thank God they played both episodes. Hot take, it kind of seemed like one whole episode. To my side over here, I got Spidey Kev. Below me, I got El Papi Grande of Hell's Kitchen, Jose. Gentlemen, what did you think?
Oh, thank God. Like you said, thank God it was 2 episodes. Because I'd be so upset if it was just episode 2.
Right? It was. It left off on such a. Oh man,
it was underwhelming.
The thing together was good. The show, the 2 episodes were good together. Let's make sure people understand our gripe. That the gripe is if that episode 3 was released next week by itself, we would have felt very underwhelmed by episode 3 on its own. But episode 2 and 3 together, shown together, was just one long ass episode. That's all it was. It was a great continuation. It was one long episode. That's all it was.
They were long ones too. I think it was like 45 minutes and 50 minutes. I was surprised. They definitely got their and I got ads in mine because I'm cheap because Disney doesn't pay me to do this, believe it or not. So I don't like an extra 10 minutes.
Oh, you don't get paid either?
No, not anymore. Not since I bashed the mouse.
Mickey always has the knife. We always
right. It's prick. So episode 2. It definitely laid a lot of groundwork. It was nice seeing Bullseye come in there.
Yes.
Dude, I was surprised that. Well, first off, let's talk about every time the blue shines.
It's what I was saying. Yep. It's what I'm saying about Daredevil and Kingpin. Daredevil's always red. Kingpin's always
color.
White. And with Bullseye, it's always blue when he's locked in on something.
He's always locked. So if we're talking just Bullseye throughout the episode, like, first off, why is he asking for Matt's mommy? He
Probably
went to the church, asked for Maggie, and I knew right away that that's his mom.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
But why?
Do you think like he wants like absolution? He wants forgiveness for because he killed the priest in that church. I was going to call it a hotel. God, I'm going to hell. But he killed the priest who raised Matt in that very church. So maybe he
3, right? Yeah.
It was Netflix way back in Netflix days.
Back in the day.
Does he want some kind of absolution? Does he realize that maybe him and Matt aren't quite on the opposite pages that they think they are?
Yeah, I think he wants revenge. For him, for Bullseye, he just wants Vanessa.
Yes.
Yeah.
He wants Vanessa, but he wants to hurt Kingpin also. But Vanessa is his ultimate goal because she's the one that manipulated him the whole time into believing one thing, and it was something completely other than that. And he killed Foggy, so we think. But him being at the church, him stalking Vanessa when she's talking to Heather and Vanessa at dinner, they're talking to each other, and he's just creeping outside and just watching them.
The scope.
Yeah.
She knows it.
And she knew she could feel it. And Heather says that to Vanessa. She goes into, whatever that old folks tale or whatever thing like that of how it feels. But I feel like they're setting it up for. I can see Karen killing Bullseye at the end. Because she can't forgive him. She can't forgive him for killing Foggy, especially if Foggy is really dead. But if it comes out that Foggy's still alive and this was a whole setup like the comic book suggested, then that's a whole story.
I think I don't see Karen killing Bullseye. You can't kill Bullseye.
I kind of like the idea of it because how are you going to put the wedge between Karen and Matt? other than she hinted about it in this episode,
Yeah.
saying like, well, Frank wasn't exactly wrong. Like he was effective or whatever it was.
She
She said,
kidnapped someone. Like she
right?
said,
Dude, she's
she
crossing the line.
basically called out Matt and was like, "You're a bitch. Like your religion has you twisted. Like sometimes you have to fight evil with evil." And she's 1000% right. And she's like, "It would be good to have him on his side." And he's like, "Why? You think killing is the answer?" He goes, "Yeah. We cut off the head of the snake, which is Kingpin. This is over. This is done." Which she's wrong. It's just going to create more anarchy.
Yeah, but
Power
we've
vacuum.
seen this before. He gets locked up, and what happens? He gets put out, and now he's the mayor of the city.
And remember what I said last year. I know we're jumping around, and I'm trying to get back to it, but you just mentioned it. Last year, I mentioned he will be president by the end of this. And what did he talk about in episode 2? World domination.
Yep. Was it?
How many worlds are there to conquer?
That's I was like, it wasn't universes, it was worlds.
Yeah. How many are? And she goes, "How many worlds do you want to conquer?" Vanessa says to him, and he says, "How many are there?"
Right.
So I just want to bring that back, just in case my theory was correct.
When we see him in Battle World, that's the question. It's just like,
but dude, where were we at? We were talking about Vanessa. No,
well, we were covering Bullseye. Yeah, we're covering Bullseye.
And his arc. So
can we talk?
He wants repentance. He wants to repent for something, and he wants forgiveness so he can feel like he's justified to do good.
Yeah.
That he's changed. And that's the only way. He knows that about Matt. Matt is very big on his religion. So he can manipulate Matt through, I don't know if it's purposely or not purposely, but he can manipulate Matt through religion. If Bullseye starts saying that he went for forgiveness and repentance, Matt as a Catholic has to forgive him. If you're going by Catholic rules, you have to forgive your fellow brother.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not religious, but I grew up in the church, so I know. You know, so this can set up a lot of different things. Yeah. But there's a reason why he's looking for his mother, and they left you hanging completely on that. Like they really didn't show him after the second episode.
No, well, Vanessa had that dream.
Yeah, that was at the beginning of was that the end of episode 2 or the beginning
of
episode 3?
It was the end of episode 2.
Yeah, and I think that's the last we got of Bullseye.
Because in between there we had the hospital thing with the elevator.
Yeah, which
was pretty badass.
He came down nice right under the top of the head. And they deserved it. I like how the old cops stood up to the young cops, the anti-vigilante task force.
Yeah, exactly.
Anti-vigilante.
Because they knew what they were going to do with Cherry.
Yeah, they were going to kill his ass.
Yeah.
They're going to execute him.
Yeah.
You know? And they weren't having it. And they made sure of it. They covered his ass, and they didn't have much to do. They showed up at the end of episode 3 and like, you know, just let your friends know that Cherry's all right and he's safe, which made Karen and Matt feel better.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah,
when they were at Josie's, that's it. That was their sole purpose in these 2 episodes.
Yeah, I felt like there was something else there, but I thought they cut it out. But I don't know.
Yeah, so
and that was just all like that was just erupted.
You see Cherry in the beginning when he's getting wielded to the hospital, and Matt's on the top of the building. Great shot of him.
Right.
Oh, God,
I don't want to get into Matt yet or Daredevil. I want to let's talk about the background players first. I'm sorry. Next, I want to go ahead, Mike.
No, I was gonna say, can we bring up the doctor lady? Her name's escaping me right now.
Heather.
And kind of the revelation that she pulled something out of a drawer and
She kept
maybe
Muse's mask.
right. What a freaky
She's
bitch!
becoming Muse. I'm telling you, it's happening. She's literally becoming Muse.
I don't like. I don't think that was a well-kept secret that she was going to become
No.
Muse.
Yeah,
I thought from season, I think most people from season 1 thought that she was going to become Muse somehow.
Yeah.
How
yeah.
she gets the power of Muse, and I've heard theories of how she becomes Muse. Or one theory that I heard, it is not mine. I heard it. It's fantastic. It would be great that she dies at the end of the season,
I know what you're talking about.
which leads Kingpin to go to the Hand to revive her like they did Elektra. And when she's revived, she comes back with the power of Muse. And she already has the mental craziness that she's already adapting. You can see she's changing into Muse. Her mind is warped. She is relentless.
Spiraling.
She has no soul.
No.
Her eyes are dark.
The whole
Like,
court scene when
Yes.
Bibi keeps looking back at her, she's just staring. She's like,
yep.
When
There's nothing.
Kirsten was looking back at her, and she was just there, like just like nothing, blank.
blank, nothing.
Even outside the court, she just turned. Well, and you could tell in the beginning, she was feeling what Kirsten was saying to her, and telling her, it's wrong. You manipulated this thing, and he goes, "No, my files are correct." And she knew she was wrong. You could see it in her face. But then it's like she transformed into the Muse.
Mhm.
And then she goes, "Well, you weren't there. You weren't there when you got attacked by this monster, this vigilante and stuff like that." Muse is not a vigilante. He's a criminal.
Right, dude.
A
Dude's a freaking
psychopath.
psychopath.
Yeah. Like a vigilante is someone who wants to be a hero,
Mhm.
She's gone, dude. Her dinner with Vanessa, and then Buck and her at the governor's dinner. Oh, that was smooth.
Dude, what did he say? He thinks he's a knight or
He's
something
the
like
knight.
that.
Yeah, he's
yeah,
the knight because his job is to protect.
yeah.
And he's right. He has all the people. But that question she asked him, who protects what does the knight do when he knows that all these people will eventually turn on him? And he was like something to the extent like,
That's a
he
good
waits
question.
for it. That's a good question.
Yeah.
They set that up so nicely. And
They're
like they
giving
set
him
up
more of a
their
character.
relationship. Yes. Big time. I love the development of Buck and Daniel in this 2 episodes.
They're seen together when they're talking
Great.
about the amazing.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But before we get into that,
Yeah.
I did damn it. I wanted to say something about that dinner and with them too. Oh, Buck. For some reason, and I might be crazy. I probably am. When Buck was with Vanessa and he was giving her the gun, did you get a little feeling that there was
She
a
was
little
kinda eyeing him up.
sexual
Yep.
chemistry,
A little bit.
or that,
Yep.
that she was gonna try to use him or manipulate him against Kingpin? I'm just
She is
saying.
never not trying to play anybody, but there was a scene in, I want to say it was like the first episode, where they kind of had a bit of that sexual
Yes.
tension. So
On the rooftop.
hopefully that dude don't get put in a cage and beat the bricks out of him like her latest boyfriend did
Dude,
in season 1.
So I got a prediction, and I just what you saying, beating the bricks off of them. I think that when Kingpin goes to that boxing match and that shit is televised, he's gonna decapitate a dude. And that's what's gonna show him for the monster he is.
Well,
That's just a theory of mine.
Dude,
But
that's not
yeah.
a theory. That's a theory backed up by fact. Look what he did to his trainer. His
Oh
trainer
my
was like, "I thought you were tougher
He-
than that. You ain't a quitter. You ain't a quitter."
He
That
literally
dude
pulled
gave
a Rogers. He pulled Steve Rogers from the first Avengers. He punched the shit out of the punching bag.
right.
Exactly.
Dude, he gave him the biscuits. He gave him the straight biscuits, and right through the mirror, that dude is dead.
Yeah.
He's dead.
He's gone.
No,
He's gone.
he's definitely gone. So I hope he remembers this shit's for charity.
Right? No,
It's an exhibition. But
we saw a snippet of the trailer. Like there's blood drawn, and he looks like he's about to. Yeah. Anyway.
But to get back to we were talking about Buck's character. From Buck, their chemistry between Buck and Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel is good. Yep.
Daniel, he's definitely the Rose. Like we all know at least I know he's the Rose because Daniel Blake is a name for the Rose. That was one of his other names.
I hope to God he's the Rose because I don't want Kingpin to kill him. I hope he has the chance, dude.
That would be smart into like what he can become.
Daniel is the ultimate villain.
Mm-hmm.
He is so smart, and everyone underestimates him. When he goes in there and he's talking to Buck, and he goes, Buck, try this hot dog. I'm telling you that great. You don't want to eat the seafood. The shrimp's gonna make you want to throw up on the guys from the mayor's office and all this and all that. And he goes, oh, you're looking for these files. Oh, you're looking for these files. And he goes, oh, and I did my homework on you, basically. Oh, you weren't part of this school. And he goes, oh, interesting. And he goes, well, I'm gonna at the mayor's dinner, I'm gonna get this guy who I don't know to tell me everything. And how are you going to do that? Same way I got you to eat a hot dog that you don't know what's in it.
Yep.
I like,
he's smart. Because that's what Buck says in the dinner with Heather. He says, and what about Daniel? And she said, oh, the jester. He's like, a jester, but
yes,
people are underestimating him,
That was great. That whole speech with Buck when he called everyone out. And what everybody was exactly on point. Like he was on point with everything. But I'm very curious to see where their relationship goes between Buck and Heather. Very interested to see.
It's like I said in the last episode. First season of Born Again was missing this more character development from the supporting characters.
That's the thing where Murdock and Kingpin are kind of taking a step back in the grander scale of things. We're really focusing on the characters that were kind of implemented in the first season, which is they were all really good.
And they really show that, not to jump ahead, but they really show that towards the end of episode 3, where they show Karen and Matt, and they show Kingpin and Vanessa, and the focus on those two scenes on Karen and Vanessa, and not Kingpin and Matt.
Mm-hmm.
If you really, the focus was on those two characters,
and they were kind of talking about like different sides of the same coin there, where Vanessa was like, we should leave, and then Karen was like, let's go to Brooklyn. Remember how nice it was in Brooklyn, and like let's stay in New York. And like Vanessa's like, let's get out of here, like go conquer another world.
They own an island.
They do.
Yep.
Gotta check them files, man.
Is it for could it be for a certain mutants in the future?
I don't know.
Oh man.
Just saying.
Let's keep it back on Daniel now.
And we go to the point where Danny's talking to BB at the dinner, and he makes this dinner for her, and he's like, I never cooked before, I never did any of this, I was just following the directions.
Reading the instructions. He's good at following orders.
Exactly. Exactly. And he starts telling her, and without exactly like accusing her straight up, and like saying like, I know you went through my computer, I know you took my files. And he was like, just stop it, stop the leak now. And she's like, what, are you scared of him? And he's like, look how good it is. Look how good it is. And that's exactly how evil when good people do nothing, and they sit back and they say, well, look at all the good things that are happening because all of this bad shit's going on. That's when evil and dictators really come to power.
What was said in The Dark Knight when Two-Face was at dinner with Bruce Wayne? This, Mike.
The night is always darkest before the dawn?
Nope.
That one?
Live a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
That's true. That is very true.
Sounds just like what we just talked about.
Exactly. And yeah, he's a schemer. Going back to like the Dark
Yeah.
Knight again, like Dent, he's a schemer. Like, but like Danny, he's a freaking schemer.
Yeah,
He's
that
got
kid
his little.
so underestimated. It's not.
Mhm.
It's so crazy. He's playing even Kingpin. He's playing everyone,
It
Mhm.
goes
but
to
he doesn't realize that he's getting played. And what did Karen say? She was taught by BB's father. The people, the most easiest to manipulate are the people that manipulate. She
Very
said
true.
that, and he said that back when in season 3 before he was killed, and she said it to her in the last episode, in episode 3, 2, 1. I'm counting backwards.
You count backwards.
apparently.
But yeah, it goes back to the scene where Kingpin finds out about those videos that BB makes of the fake Kingpin,
Mhm.
and he asked him. He said, "Well, who?" Well, I'm not saying the exact line, but Kingpin literally asks Daniel, "Well, who are you trying to protect in this building?" He goes, "You."
He goes, only
answer.
you, sir.
Good
answer.
Good answer.
Wipe that nose off, kid.
The kid is a genius. He has to be the Rose. He
Yeah.
has to be the Rose. Like, there's no other character he can be.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
none.
think there's any arguing it. By this point, after these 2 episodes, there is no arguing the point that he is definitely the Rose, and we're gonna see a purple mask at some time.
I take it.
And in this episode, we've seen 2 roses.
Yes, we
Mhm.
did.
We saw 2 roses. Although one was in Bullseye's, it was red when the light was on. When Bullseye had his light on, it was blue.
Yes.
Yep.
But we saw 2 roses. Foreshadowing, maybe, you think?
But it goes back to Vanessa and Bullseye. Why was she on the floor?
Right?
Why was she just laying there? I was thinking she was on drugs or she was drunk.
No,
I
I
was
think
thinking-
that's just her laying. I'm sorry, that's her laying there, just really contemplating her next move. And like sometimes laying on the floor is just a good thing to do, just to really ground yourself and really get your thoughts in.
Because
I know, because I've
she's
done
always she's always the one making the plans. She's always the one 2 steps ahead.
Yeah.
Like Kingpin is just there. Well, not there, but he's just like he's not 2 steps ahead like Vanessa is, because Vanessa is always is what Buck said. She sits and she analyzes. She calculates everything.
She was running the freaking city when he was gone.
Yeah.
I disagree with you in the sense that I think Kingpin knows what she's up to. He's always known. Kingpin is like, he's a better chess player than Vanessa is. Vanessa's good, but the Kingpin's way better at chess than he is. He is a master chess player. And he knows what's going on behind the scenes with Vanessa. He knows that Vanessa wants to leave to this beach and this island because she is scared of the consequences of her actions, because every action has a reaction.
Mhm.
And she knows Bullseye's loose, he's back, and it's hunting season.
Yeah. She's
And
definitely
then
showed.
From that transaction, or that what we saw Vanessa, you see, their new team forming. Now you got they take Angela's Tia, Nelson Ayala's wife, the Black Cat,
Being White Tiger.
and then White Tiger, Black
completely
Cat.
different character.
Yes, very, very different. I love this kid. Like, I don't know if she's a kid or she's an adult.
I'm so happy she came back. I'm so
she
happy
plays
she's
the
back.
kid so well. She's fantastic.
Yeah, she is.
She is such a great actress. She really is. I expect I see big things in her future.
I was surprised, like, because I really thought she took the totem last season, like when she walked out of that courtroom. And
Matt had it.
Yeah,
Matt took it from the funeral home when he went to see pick up Hector's stuff. He never gave it to her because Matt knew what the amulet did.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt gave the amulet to, I believe, he must have gave it to her, or he still had it in the office.
He gave it to that lawyer girl.
Yeah, to Kirsten.
Which, thank God she finally has something to do this season.
Yeah.
Like, they she felt like a relic last season that was like completely cut from the original.
What I was saying about supporting characters.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was,
and like,
she was unfortunately one.
I was surprised because like I kind of rolled my eyes when I was like, oh, it's her. And then like when she was, at the courtroom and she ended up going to the jail cell with the swordsman, I really felt for her, and it was nice to see her finally have something to do.
Yeah, she definitely had more of a scene today in this 2 episodes than she's had in the whole season last season.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was good. And then with Ayala going back to Angela, not Ayala, going back to Angela, they showed like when she just popped up at the end and she was there to help them escape. And, she has the amulet on and everything like that. Like when they showed the tire with the 3 claw,
right?
I thought it was her with the claws.
So did I.
And then they showed the knife. I'm like, oh, you got me. Got you, bitch.
She doesn't have the claws just yet.
Yeah.
That's a street outfit prototype first costume for her.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm curious to see what they're going to do with her character, because her character is still young. I'm guessing she's like 17 or maybe even 18 at this point, but she's still young to be a superhero. Peter Parker was 15, but that was different.
I mean, would you say she would maybe be like a young Avenger?
Maybe. I thought they forgot about that plot, honestly.
But maybe the young Defenders.
Because we had the Avengers Tower in the background of one of these scenes.
I did see that on like a reel today. I was kind of blown away by that. And that brings up another point. Did you guys catch how there's been like a 6-month time jump, and that's a good place to kind of like stick that Thunderbolts, the blackout or whatever it is.
6-month time jump.
Yeah, they talked about there was a 6-month time jump in episode 3.
Yeah, it's 6 months after season 1.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was confused with something else.
But remember, we were kind of grumpy about last year. We were like, they're not even going to mention the Sentry and the Void and all that stuff and New York, and that's a really nice way to just kind of
just
stick it in there and move on. And now we have the Avengers Tower in the background.
And the Kingpin video said, "Oh, friendly neighborhood."
Of course you called that, right? All right, Agatha.
They finally gave BB more of a role, and as showing her as I said the Muppet Kingpin. That's the only thing she looks like to me is a Muppet. But they showed her doing, putting everything on blast too. So they gave her some character development. Who else are we missing before we get into Karen and Matt and Kingpin themselves? The trial for the swordsman.
Yeah,
him and his character, dude. He knew it. The way he narrated his sentence, and he was like basically saying everything that was going on.
Yep, and talking in French. Yeah, I feel bad for him.
But I also want to say, like, with White Tiger's aunt getting arrested, right? And how the neighborhood is like yelling, cursing at the task force, telling them to go off the streets and everything. The writer or the director was interviewed and asked, like, from what's happening this season, is it close to what's happening in the real world right now? And he kind of like swerved it and not answer the question. I think it's definitely giving the vibe of what's happening in the world right now. And Stanley always said, like, these comic books already get away, but it's also events and stuff that happen in the real world as well. Like,
But that was smart of him to deflect that question, because you don't want to get caught up. Even if you're trying to send a message, you don't want to be caught in the middle of trying to have to decide what line you step onto. So it's a smarter way for them to play it safe and just steer clear away from that, because that's going to put them in a conversation they don't want to put the show in, because they just want to focus on just a good comic book TV show.
Yeah.
Life imitates art and art imitates life.
Yes.
But I will say that the best science fiction and the best stories in this kind of genre have always been an exaggeration of things that go on in the outside and a way to deal with things and put them in perspective in different ways. And sometimes the best science fiction and the best superhero stories find an interesting way of doing that.
Yeah, I agree. It's just a little something I wanted to
Yeah.
bring up, but yeah.
I thought that scene in the liquor store or in the bodega there was really interesting, where they had the kids, and I thought Little White Tiger was going to beat the crap out of them kids.
Me too.
Yeah.
And then she
They were
started,
just
like-
friends from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's what you do. You clown them and stuff like that, and it's all cool. But like the aunt, I want to say the Thea, because that's how we say aunt, is Thea. She was right, and just, I know what you're up to.
Yeah,
the
like
shit
if you're
back,
if
you know
you're
what I
called
mean?
out, just drop it, dude. Like,
Yeah,
get the
just
fuck
drop
outta
it.
here.
Like, you're affecting the neighborhood. Like, this dude's not, like, no offense, stealing's wrong, but
Mhm.
stealing from a Target's a big difference from stealing from a little mom and pop shop. Like,
Exactly,
it's gonna
man.
affect our pockets a lot more than it's gonna affect Target. And that's talking from a business owner who used to run multi-million-dollar stores for Lowe's and for Model Sporting Goods and all those other stores.
Yeah.
It affects our pockets a lot more when you steal from a mom and pop shop, because we're buying those goods at a higher price to begin with.
Yep.
So, and then, but the old man, the bodega owner came out, guns a
Right,
blazing.
dude.
To a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it happens. It happens.
It happens, dude.
Yeah, I
People
know.
get tired of getting taken care of. Like, I don't blame him for pulling that shotgun on them kids. I don't. I really don't. I grew up in the hood. I know what it's like. People want to act reckless and think there's no consequences. There's consequences for your actions.
You learn. Yep.
Yeah.
Some are tougher than others. Figure out what the hell you want to do in life and stop hanging around fucking knuckleheads. You know what I'm saying? Real
Knuckleheads.
talk.
Yeah.
You know
Dude,
what
I
I'm
haven't
saying?
heard knuckleheads in a long time.
But I find it funny that the same kid who caused the problems was yelling at the cops saying, "Get out of the neighborhood." Like, you're the one
And
you're the one that did it.
But that
Oh, it's-
imitates what happens for real. That's what happens in real life.
Anyone
Like-
throws a stone in a pebble, what happens? Ripples come out from it. And a lot of times it's unforeseen consequences. And that was a huge unforeseen consequence.
Yeah.
You're driving down the road, you give somebody the finger, you think it's just you giving somebody a finger. That dude had a bad day. Next thing you know, he's ramming you or chasing you home with a gun.
Yep.
It ain't worth it. I'm sorry for getting my rant, but
All will be well, man. Live that Zen
Anyway.
life, dude. At the end of the day, nobody pays you enough to get mad at all.
nah, not at all. But going back to this, let's
The broken system that is the court.
the
court team.
AV TV or whatever, AV police, the anti-vigilante task force, dude. That dude Cole is out of pocket. Like,
yeah, dude, he's a freaking jerk.
Are you talking about
Speaking
Powell or are you
of,
talking about Cole?
Powell. Cole's
Yeah.
the dude with the burnt face.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
just came back.
Yeah. So Powell,
Dude.
man, that dude's reckless as shit.
when he was like, "You guys get back on the ship," and they were like, "But we want to go home to our families." And why do we? Because I told you to go back on the ship. Okay, they got back on the ship.
No remorse.
Right? He knew what was going to happen.
No remorse. He has to die.
Yep.
Like, he has to. Frank got to get that boy. Frank got to get, and like Daredevil's got to get him, because Daredevil, dude, Matt sensed it. He goes, he killed them all.
Yeah.
He killed them all. And that was crazy. Matt was like, what type of man can be like, just kill those 126 employees, nobody will miss them, and deals with that. And then what type of man with Matt's capabilities hears that, knows that, and doesn't take vengeance on that person?
It kind of reminded me of a little bit of Star Wars Episode 4, where Obi-Wan talked about Alderaan, how it got blown up. And he said, I just heard 1,000 voices and it stopped.
Yep.
That's what that reminded me of.
Yeah.
It's that whole ship thing actually turned out to be a pretty big deal. I like how they tried to hide it with the diapers falling out of it. Yep.
And
then
and how they tied the watch in the first episode, in the very first 5 minutes of the first episode, tie that watch back all the way to the ship.
Yep.
Come on.
And I liked it. It was
Daredevil. Come on.
Yeah.
That was smart by him.
I know. It's just funny to me.
I know. But we got. But do we want to talk about that? Which fight scene we want to talk about? You want to talk about the?
I want to talk about all the fight scenes in one here. When Daredevil sent that line, was it at the bar? I forget. When he sent that, he sent that line down the hallway, and the dude was a freaking hockey puck bouncing off the corners,
he was dragging.
Taking people out with shin kicks. That was dope. That was amazing.
Cool.
Can we talk about how much cool? Like Netflix was cool. It was down. It was gritty. But once, it was really when like the Echo show, the opening of Echo, where Matt really started using his Billy Club. Like the Disney Plus has really added the comic book splash page aspect to the fighting of the Daredevil series. Yeah. The hallway fight in season 1, episode 1 will go down as one of the greatest, but they found a way to upgrade what they have going forward.
Dude, the entire
the dynamicness,
was there was that fight scene where he was at Josie's, where he's slinging around, and then the task force come. The fight scene with the swordsman.
Yeah, one shot, the one shot,
dude.
The one
when
shot,
it went right through.
Yep.
I like, oh snap! and Matt with his Batman Dark Knight Chris Bale voice. Get out. I'm like, oh, dude.
Where are the drugs? I mean, get out.
Run now, Martha. Sorry.
That dude, but it was funny because that's what I'm pretty sure 99.9% of people thought of Kristen Bale's Batman.
Absolutely.
He even did. We was talking to Kirsten at the other looking down. It's like, I need your help. Like, oh, God.
The Joker would never give it to a regular citizen. I mean, the Kingpin's doing bad things.
How many drugs you take, Daredevil? Yes.
And when he even went in and he was looking for Karen, he goes, Karen.
Martha, Karen, Rachel.
Oh my God, we're so dumb.
But that shit was.
That's how you find out. That's how you find out that Matt Murdock is really Daredevil. You start looking who's buying the most throat lozenges in the freaking city.
But
done.
But okay. But going back to the prison scene. Kirsten tells him what she hears, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
She hears and what she feels. Daredevil's like, I didn't see it. She goes, oh, I couldn't see anything because of the goggles.
I can work with that.
He smiles like, I can work with that. And he goes in. It goes back to the scene where she's walking through the prison.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like I said, I'm so glad that they gave us 2 episodes back to back. Because my God,
when they did that shit, you were basically taken hostage. You remember what you smelled. You remember the birds. You remember the water. Get the out of here.
Well, you could when she was like being led down there, like they were kind of making like a point that she was like kind of like paying attention to the things.
Yeah,
counting steps and.
I don't remember that part, but
she's also a lawyer. She pays attention to that stuff.
Yeah,
but like some of the acting in those scenes were very questionable. There was one where Karen was like, it was when they were spying when Karen and Matt were spying
On top of the
and-
thing.
on top of the thing, and before the last sentence, she goes, "Oh, it was some corny, cheesy ass line," and it was something like, "Come back safe." Like something corny as hell. I'm like, wow, the writing was lazy as shit on that one.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I think you're talking about like, oh, he's gonna go down there. And she's like, no, that's suicide. And he goes, or he says like, oh, I have no choice or something. And she's like, I don't know, I don't feel safe you going down there because it's something along those lines. Anyway, but
Yeah, they need to run that script through like the chat GPT on a couple,
Yeah.
couple
But
things like that.
again, going back to episode 3, where Karen takes hostage of a task force member. They're interrogating them. He's like, "Stop lying." He's like, "I'm not lying." He's like, "You're a liar." He's
Oh
like, "No,
my
I'm not."
God.
And then I see Matt go,
He's telling the
"Yeah,
truth.
yeah, he's not lying." It's like, okay.
It was such a bad cop, worst cop scenario. It
Yep.
wasn't even good cop, bad cop. It
But
was
again,
bad cop, worst cop.
it goes back to what you said about Karen and how she's thinking about Punisher's mindset. Punisher would do something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and
She is traveling a dark path the same way Heather is, but in different ways.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm it's gonna get to a point where Matt's not gonna be able to be with her. It's gonna be like one of the,
What
which
else
is
is there?
fine because we're gonna get Elektra back in Spider-Man Brand New Day or by the end of this.
let Matt continue to be the
And she's gonna
sluttiest.
come with the white
SU
suit.
character.
Right, dude, I can't wait. Dude, you put the white suit on her, you put that do-rag, you get that crazy Frank Miller hair blowing in the background. Yes, please.
And let Matt continue to be the sluttiest character in MCU.
Yeah, but no,
Electra-
that title
Electra
goes to
Farrell.
She-Hulk. That title goes to She-Hulk, my friend.
I don't know, but good.
Sluttiest male
So
characters.
good.
Matt Murdock, Dick Grayson. Like,
All right, bring us back.
bring us back. Let's
fight
talk
scenes.
about
Anything
the
else
fight
with
scenes
the
were
fight
dope.
scenes? They were dope.
Yeah, again,
Kingpin-
they're ratcheting up. Kingpin is definitely a powder keg getting ready to blow up. I think you you called it quite a bit when he's going to snap during the boxing match.
yeah.
Something's going to happen. I want to talk about you talked about questionable acting. Can I talk about questionable CGI? When Maggie, who's the doctor's name is Maggie, right?
Doctor?
The psychiatrist,
Heather. Maggie
Okay.
was Matt's mom.
Gotcha. All right. So when Heather was like
And
nailing
he's
that,
not on drugs.
nope,
No,
I'm
he's
not tonight. So when she was putting that nail in the wall and like she started crying, did that look like the fakest CGI tear in the world, or was that just me? I can tell by your faces that it was just me.
Saw the crack.
Yeah.
No, I didn't recognize the tear. I really didn't.
Yeah.
I
was thinking, I was like,
the
that's some
significance.
fake ass crying.
Yeah, I noticed the significance in her attitude and like
Yeah.
what that crack meant. And then when she gets the realization of the bullseye of Muse,
Mm.
it gives her strength. It gives her power. It gives her, she can focus better. That's why, she was able to hit that nail the one time and get it incorrectly. And like, it gives her a self-esteem to give her strength in herself and belief. At least that's where I see it going as far as her being a villain and being Muse. I'm very curious to see where that. I know we talked about that already, but yeah, her character building is going to be good.
Now this episode kind of ends with them all jumping on that crazy truck and riding off into the sunset. Where do you think we go for episode 4? I did not watch.
Where's Jessica Jones?
Right, dude.
I think they said episode 4 and on, it goes crazy. Like every episode's a banger. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got 5 total episodes. Then we have Punisher. Dude, we're in for a ride. I feel like we're missing something to talk about that happened, but I'm okay with it. He
I
got
think
into Red Hook. He got everybody out. The swordsman. But the thing was, I did want to mention that it's supposed to be vigilantes. The only vigilante there was swordsman.
Yeah, but yeah,
it's also
It
people
was all
who
normal
touched
people.
It's people who interfered with the task force. It's kind of a concentration camp. Throw anybody in here is quite bucking against the system that they want kind of situation. They're all what do you call that?
Fan.
Political prisoners.
Yeah.
I think is what you want to aim that.
They were off from the mayor's office and everything.
Yep.
You had the ship sink, and you had everybody go out, and Fisk is on top of it. He goes, "This is good. We can use the ship explosion to cover this up." I'm like, God damn.
Oh, dude, speaking of like chess and checkers there, then like really kind of using it. When he put out that like Matt Murdock needs to be found and he's a hero, like, and he's like, well, you got half the people that hate Daredevil, and now you got people who love Matt. They will find him and they will exploit him. Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Like that's genius. Yep.
Genius. Like this dude's on, I'm telling you, he knows everything Vanessa's up to.
Yeah.
He knows.
We'll see.
There's no way he doesn't.
He just doesn't want to call her out on it.
I can't wait to see. And the thing is, they don't even give you previews of what the next episode is going to be about.
I'm glad they don't. I'm glad they don't.
I think there was a podcast after that I didn't watch.
Yeah, the podcast is they just talk about what happened in the episode and how they felt filming it and stuff like that.
Who would ever sit there for a podcast and talk about what happened in the episode?
I don't know.
We're taking our jobs, damn it.
You know, don't they make enough money?
Right. So, yeah, I think episode 4 going forward, we really need to bring in the heavy hitter. We really need to bring in the hitchers, the heavy hitter of
okay, thank you,
Jessica Jones.
There we go.
She has to be the first one.
Yep,
because that's the obvious one.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's expecting her.
Yeah,
and they said it's going to get crazier. And they said Vincent D'Onofrio and I don't know the guy's name. Charlie Cox. I do know his name. Charlie Cox mentioned that the ending for episode 8 for this season is something that is ripped right out of the comic book. I believe he said that people never thought they would see.
As long as if he would sit there and be like, it was ripped right out of the comic book and it was amazing. Like, get Spider-Man in that last damn episode. J. Jonah Jameson here. I want Spider-Man. Get Spider-Man in the last damn episode.
Spider-Man.
It would make sense for it to be Spider-Man.
Because it'll go
right into Brand New Day with the hand. Which was in Daredevil. It's obvious that if they mess this up.
And the deputy mayor ladies in the Brand New Day trailer too.
Yeah. Whatever her name is again. Yeah, Sheila. And she's having second thoughts about what she did and got the commissioner killed.
Yep.
We didn't talk about her character arc where she's drinking the Kool-Aid.
She's definitely like she's got to save her job, man. She knows
she's drinking the Kool-Aid. She looks much older.
Yeah,
and we saw her in the trailer. It makes sense to have it.
Yeah,
it's funny. I was having a conversation today with a customer about Brand New Day and everything they showed and everything that people are suspecting and everything with Avengers Doomsday and what people are expecting. And I don't think we're going to get any of that stuff. I don't think any of the things that we're expecting, all the rumors, it's going to be like the Fantastic Four, where they set up this movie that's going to be all this destruction of this planet and them leaving it, or at least that's what my interpretation was, which was what I thought most people were on the same page with, and we got a completely different story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to happen. So I hope I'm wrong. I really am. But this show is keeping Marvel on track for right now. Kevin Feige is hitting it out the park with Daredevil.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
On that note, gentlemen, it'll be next week. We'll have episode 4, and I can't wait to see what's next.
I can't wait.
Right?
Halfway through the season.
It's always a
I'm gonna
good thing when
cry.
we got.
I'm gonna
It's
cry.
always a good thing when we got brand new episodes of Daredevil on TV taking place. It's always something to celebrate. I'll
Yep.
never not say that. On that note, I think we're gonna have to wrap it up for the night, gentlemen.
Alrighty.
Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Geeks at the Nerd Table. We got Spider Kev over here who has a couple things of brewing in his own little thing. I don't
Yeah,
know if he
something's a
wants
little
to.
cooking. No, something's a little cooking. I'll just leave it
I
at
think,
that. Something's cooking.
I think so. And then we have El Papi Grande down here, not only of Hell's Kitchen, but of the
That's
Streetlight
right.
Confessions.
That is correct, my friend. Streetlight Confessions. We are working on the next episode, which should air in about 3 weeks. Hopefully, if things work out with scheduling, that'll be out for April. Excuse me, in time for Autism Awareness, which is actually today, April 1st. You know, if you know anyone in your family, you know what it's like to live with someone that has autism and is on the spectrum. There's different levels to this, and not only bring awareness to it, we're going to talk to someone who has a kid that is autistic in Tone from GNT Sports, and he's going to talk about it from the father's side, the father's perspective, and the struggles that father face when it comes to having a kid that's on the spectrum. So that's coming out also for Baby Gorilla Comics. We will also have Free Comic Book Day, May 2nd, coming up so soon. So within another month from today, exactly 1 month from the time you see this episode, it will be Free Comic Book Day again, and we will have your comic books, and we will have sales. And stay tuned to Baby Gorilla Comics on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We'll keep posting everything that's coming up, new Toy Fridays, new comic book every Wednesday, and anything else any other announcements that it's going to be taking place soon at the shop. So that's all I got, Mike. What you got, brother?
I would say I may have been out toy shopping today and found some pretty cool items at the Ross. Ross Con has not stopped. It will not stop. Go to your Ross almost every day. You find the most amazing random things. And I found some really cool stuff that I can't wait to unbox. So those will be coming up very shortly. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what a fine show. And I bid you adieu. Adios.
Adios.